In this video, I'm going to show you how to create and use Facebook custom audiences. So real quick, why should you care about custom audiences? Because it allows you as an advertiser to deliver your ad to the same people more than once. And the reason this is important is because it takes people multiple brand interactions before they actually make a decision, whether that's to purchase product or to opt into a lead magnet. I don't know what the actual figure is. I think it might be 7, might be 9, might be 10. But the point is, people need to see your business and interact with it multiple times before they actually trust you and make a decision. And so custom audiences allow you to get people to see your brand multiple times because you can retarget them and show them multiple ads. So I'm going to hop into my business manager and show you how to create these audiences and then how to use them in your ads. All right, so I'm in my business manager account, and what you're going to do is go to the menu in the top left, click on all tools and then audiences. That's going to bring you to a page that looks like this, and you can see that I don't have any audiences in here right now. You might see a few if you've used your ad account in the past. So there's 3 different types of audiences that you can create and use in Facebook ads: saved audiences, custom audience, and lookalike audience. So a saved audience is basically the default audience that you would use if you went in and manually created it yourself. So that's where you would define the demographic characteristics, their age, gender, location, and then the interests yourself. So that's a saved audience. A custom audience, what we're going to talk about in this video, is putting people into a group that have already interacted with your business in some way in the past. And then lookalike audience, which I'm going to make another video on, is based on a custom audience. So what this is an entirely new group of people that share similar characteristics to a custom audience. So to create a custom audience, we're going to click on this blue button and say custom audience. And we have a few different options to choose from. So we need to select a source for which we're going to build this custom audience based on. Now, I haven't used all of these personally. The ones that I use most frequently are website traffic, customer list, video, and lead form. So I'm going to show you how to use those. The first one is website traffic. So this is going to require that you have a Facebook pixel installed onto your website or your landing page. And if you do that, what happens is Facebook can track all of the people who have visited the different pages on your website, and then you can put those people into a custom audience based on the specific pages that they're visiting. So by default, it's allowing us to create an audience based on all website visitors in the last 30 days. We can expand this up to 180 days. Depending on the type of custom audience that you're creating, the maximum time that you're allowed to go back, it'll either be 180 days or 365 days in certain cases, but most of the time it's 180 days. So in this case, we're just going to create an audience of people who visited every single web page on our website. So this is a very broad retargeting audience, but we can be a lot more specific. So what we can do is click this and say people who visited a specific web page. Now this is where we can say the URL of our website either equals, doesn't contain, or does contain. Usually I just click on contain, and then I'll put in the end part of the URL for a particular page on my website. So for example, maybe somebody visited a sales page on your website and you wanted to retarget just those people. And let's say the URL for that sales page is your domain.com/sales page. So I would just put this here. And what this is going to do is anybody who visits a page on your website that contains this in the URL, it's going to put those people into this custom audience. So you just need to make sure that this snippet here is unique to that specific page that you're trying to target. You can also click onto this and also, and then add another page. So if you wanted to say people who visited, this page for this product, and then this page, let's say you had another product where the URL was, I don't know why you would name it like this, but you can see that obviously the URL is different. But if you wanted to include those 2 URLs in this custom audience, you could do that. Another cool thing that you can do is exclude people who visited certain pages. So let's say the user journey in this example is that somebody visits your sales page. On that sales page, they click onto a button which adds that product to their cart, and then on that page they are taken to a payment info page, and then from there they complete their purchase, right? That's kind of like the typical user journey. So what we could do is say, I want to create a custom audience of people who have visited my sales page, but they haven't gone any further past that point in the funnel. So let's say after the sales page, once they add that product to their cart, that cart page has this in the URL. So what we're saying here is I want to create an audience of people who visited this sales page but did not reach the cart page. So the reason you might do that is because you could advertise a specific message to this group of people that isn't relevant to people who have reached the cart page or further along in that sales process. It might be something like, hey, I saw you were interested in my product. You know, maybe I could offer you a 15% discount to encourage you to, you know, continue the process or whatever it might be. But basically this allows you to be really specific with your audience and target people who have reached a very specific point in your sales process. So that's one way that you can create a custom audience with website traffic. Now, another way that I like to use this is visitors by time spent. So basically what this is saying people who visited your website, we're only going to put the top 25% who visited for the longest duration. You can also define it by 10% or 5%. So for example, let's say we had 100 people visit a specific web page on our website that contained this URL. Of those 100 people, we're only going to put the top 5%, so 5 people in this case, who spent the most time or the longest duration on this particular web page. So the theory behind that is that if people are spending a longer duration on a particular page, it could demonstrate that they're more interested and engaged in whatever that page is communicating to them. This is particularly useful, I find, when that page is more of a brand awareness, top of the funnel kind of page. If you're just trying to educate people about a certain topic or get people interested in something, the people who are spending the most time on that page are probably the people who are more interested in that topic or that whatever it is you're communicating to them. So a lot of the time I'll either retarget these people or create a lookalike audience based on that. So if we go back to our sources and we click on customer list, this is another really good option for creating a custom audience. So what you can do here is actually upload a list of your customers or leads and retarget to those people. So you don't need a pixel to create this type of custom audience. You can actually just upload a list of emails and then retarget the people, the emails on that list that actually have a Facebook account. So we have a few options. We can include a file that includes a customer lifetime value, one that doesn't. This is probably going to be the best option for you, or you can import directly from MailChimp. So MailChimp has some kind of partnership with Facebook. Don't worry too much about MailChimp. If you are using another email service provider other than MailChimp, then you can just simply use this option by exporting your list of leads and then uploading it as a CSV file. So if you click onto this, you'll see we have this upload file button. We're going to click on that, upload a file, and then Facebook is usually pretty good at automatically detecting the different columns in that CSV file. So I think by default you are probably going to need an email, and then you might also more than likely have the name of your email list as well. But basically what Facebook is going to do is it's going to take the list of emails and it's going to match them with Facebook users who have and use that same email address. So for example, let's say you had a list of 1,000 people, 1,000 emails that you uploaded. Let's say of those 1,000 emails, 900 of them were matched to an existing Facebook user. Facebook would put those 900 people into this custom audience for you, and then you could retarget them. And then the other two options I like to use, actually 3 options: video, lead form, and then Facebook page. So for video, this is a really interesting one. What you can do is retarget people who have watched a certain percentage of a video that you published on Facebook. Now, unfortunately, this can't be a YouTube link that you just shared onto your Facebook page. It actually has to be a video that you uploaded to Facebook. But what we can do is target people who watched at least 3 seconds of the video, 10 seconds, or 15 seconds. But I like these options down here, people who watched at least 25, 50, 75, or 95% of the video. So again, this is a really good top of the funnel retargeting technique. You might post a video on Facebook that educates your audience or tries to generate some kind of engagement, and then from that, the people who watch that video, I might put the people who watched 50% of that video into a custom audience and then send them another video that encourages them to move further down that sales funnel. The next custom audience source is lead form. So this would be if you've run lead generation ads in the past. Lead generation is a marketing objective that you select when you're running a Facebook campaign. And basically what happens is, instead of sending your Facebook ad traffic to a website or a landing page, when they click on your ad, it just opens up a lead form inside of Facebook, and then that's where they fill out their name, email, phone number, and then they submit it to gain access to something typically. So it's called a lead form, and if you're using that type of ad, then you can actually put people into a custom audience who have engaged with your lead forms in the past. So in this case, we can say people who opened a form, people who opened but didn't submit it, and then people who opened and submitted it. So if you want people who opted in and became leads, or if you wanted to retarget people who opened it but didn't submit it, this is probably the best option. Let's say your lead form is intended to generate leads, to opt in to download like an ebook, let's say. With this option, people who opened it but didn't submit it, people probably clicked and opened that because they were somewhat interested, but for whatever reason they didn't opt in and complete that process. So this is a really great way to retarget people who probably have a stronger intent, who are more likely to opt in. And if you just send them a retargeting ad, it might increase the likelihood that they'll opt in the future. And then from here, you would just click on this and then select a specific lead form connected to this Facebook page. So the last option that I use personally is Facebook page. And from here, you can create a custom audience based on people who have interacted with your Facebook page or ads that you've published from your Facebook page. So these are the options that we have: anyone who's engaged with your page, anyone who's visited your page, anyone who's engaged with any post or ad, anyone who's clicked a call to action button, sent you a message, or saved your page or any post. So you've got a few different options here. This is a pretty good one. If people are engaging with or liking or following your page, it's probably a good indication that they're interested in the content that you're publishing or the products and services that you're offering. So this is a great way to retarget people who are already aware of your brand and probably more likely to opt in to whatever it is you're offering. So I'm actually going to give this one a name. I'm going to say page engagers last 365 days. I'm going to create this audience, and then I'm going to show you how you would actually use this audience in an ad. So I've gone into my ad account, which you can access by going to All Tools, Ads Manager, and then I've clicked on Create New Campaign. So this is the campaign portion where I'm going to select my marketing objective. In this case, I'm just going to say lead generation. I'm just going to leave those settings at the default. I'm going to click continue. Now we're at the ad set level. So this is where you're going to select the page that you advertise out of. It's where you set your budget. It's where you select your placements, and then it's also where you set your audience, which is what we're going to be concerned about here. So I'm going to scroll down and skip everything else and just focus on the audience. So we have a few options. If you're familiar with Facebook ads, you'll know that this is kind of the default ad or audience creation tool. So this is where you would create what we call a saved audience, where you go in and manually select the targeting yourself. But what we're going to do here is click on, or if you have a saved audience already in your ad account, you would click onto this drop down and select it. But we're using a custom audience, so we're going to select this box here, and then we can click on all, or just look at our lookalike audiences, or just browse our custom audiences. So this is that audience that I just created. We're going to select that. And then because this custom audience is already built, I'm not going to refine it any further. So I'm going to remove the location. I'm going to make sure that the age is as wide as it can be. I'm not going to select a specific gender. I'm not going to add any detailed targeting. I'm just going to retarget these people based on the audience that I created. You can refine it further. So, let's say you've got a global brand and this audience is based on a global audience who visited a certain page on your website. What you could do is create an ad that's specific to people who live in a certain country. So in that case, you might, define that country here. And then in the ad section, you might create copy that's relevant just to that specific segment of your custom audience. But most of the time, my custom audience is usually just the audience that I'm trying to target with my ads. So I usually don't include any additional targeting. So anyways, that's how you create custom audiences. I hope you took something away from this video. I'll see you guys in the next one.